right here for the purple and gold
The purple and gold, yes.
This is tough, though. This is what Karl Anthony Towns does. You know, if he wasn't the #1 overall pick, could have been that purple and gold, but he's not. So Ronnie's starting off nice here.
A little tentative, as we always are at the beginning of these
Good move. You know, a little UTEP two-step action there, a little between the legs
But you see,
$1 million move, 10-cent
I can't complain because it's halfway on the shot meter, so that's something that's new as well, Scott, the layup meter.
Yes, you got to time those. You got to time those. More of just of a boost.
No way.
Something else that I wanted to mention is you guys are getting out of it for more of our hardcore X's and O guys. Oh, so you came off on that end. Not a bad help there. Is that you can control now?
I threw my body at him.
There you go.
Stick.
Ronnie, don't think you got skills.
he's feeling good about it. He's feeling good about
it. I'm feeling good at it.
There you go. There you go. What I was getting at is that for our hardcore X's and O's guys, you can control the type of help off of drives. You can control your help off of dives to the basket. We're really just giving you the tools now, offensively and defensively, to kind of try to play the more how you want.
Oh no!
That was awesome.
I can literally not buy a basket right now. Got a mismatch.
Oh, good. Little pinch post action. Nice. Coming off of the elbow and a dive to the basket.
Take a little timeout here.
Need a little TO.
That's okay. You know what?
11-2 is not a very good start.
You know me, Scott. When I get really competitive, I get quiet. I don't really want to be super quiet right now.
No, you have to
This is why I'm here.
Excuses. That's okay. We're going to be live streaming on Thursday night when this game drops at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's when our embargo drops. That'll be midnight Eastern. When that time comes, it is time to live stream, play with the community. I'm going to be playing team up with a couple of my guys all night long, so I'll be in the stream talking to you guys, playing with you guys. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll be all in there. You guys have all seen the new archetype stuff that's been coming out. Everybody who's been playing the Prelude, we're really, really excited about that. You know, the esports and the Pro-Am final couldn't have gone any better, really. You know.
And speaking of that,
other than
it really kind
the
of taught us.
Druckerbacher's running away.
Absolutely.
Besides that,
the 2K All-Star Tournament. It's going to happen in February. Really excited about that. Another $250,000.
Let it fly.
Splash.
I was so surprised how open I was, so I have to let it go.
Nice.
I'm glad you brought up the archetypes. I mean, there's so much conversation about trying to build a guy like you to the point where you play all of these styles that are relevant to what you want to do. I know Chris likes to shoot a lot, so he builds the kind of the sharpshooter, shooting guard kind of build. Is that what you're thinking, Chris?
I do. I never met a shot I didn't like.
And then Scott, what are you thinking about?
Man, see, this is Ronnie. I'm glad you asked because it's a legit conversation that we can have around the competitive gaming scene.
And it hasn't been in previous years.
It really hasn't. A lot of guys have, and different things happen. Different tech comes, different stuff, which allows us to do different things. But this point guard discussion is big. I mean, it is really every position. Like the guys you could shoot, I'm seeing a lot of playmakers out of there. But man, you're taking quite a bit of hit at the shooting. So knowing your personnel and then knowing the opposition's personnel now is going to be quite big, especially when it comes to shooting. A sharpshooter, you're not going to want to leave that guy open.
Now, one thing you just saw there, a pull-up from mid-range. Last year you tried that mid-range game. A lot of fans gave feedback about that. This year it's a really beautiful thing. Guys that can shoot that mid-range pull-up, you're going to see a higher success this year, shooting those shots.
Good defense in my opinion. Yeah, you're going to see a lot less of defenses leaving the corner. We got to, I believe, 27 teams this year actually physically talk to when it comes to ACE and our adaptive coaching engine. So that tool alone has over 6,000 adjustments currently, and we'll be updating throughout the season just as we did last year.
Straight.
Wow, there we go. All right. Calm it down. Calm it down.
Julius Randle, hopefully his 15 feet plus, he can extend that game a little bit.
He's I mean, he was coming off an ACL, MCL, right? Or was it
I think it was it was a break. Yeah. Actually, I think it was a break.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it usually takes over a year. I mean, it takes 2 years, so I think you can expect kind of a breakout.
Well, also, you know, a lot of things that are you talk about the success of the Warriors and Draymond Green. You know, Luke Walton had a lot to do with, you know, helping Draymond grow into the player he was. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what he can do with this young Lakers team.
Yeah, I love Randall a lot in Kentucky. I don't know, to be honest, how he currently fits in this NBA that we have now. That these fours really got to stretch. You know, definitely like a more agile Zebo. But his handle's definitely underrated too.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a foul. Not getting any love here.
Shabazz.
Chris, next possession, maybe we want to come down and, you know, tap that, you know, that LB, L1.
That's right.
You know, and start down there.
And Ronnie,
20-7, Chris, just about getting this thing under 10.
That's all right.
Okay.
Ronnie
It's a long
well.
game. Oh,
You can see there they were leaving him totally.
I got to get it on the boards.
Yeah, you're going to see a lot more one pass away leaving exceptions. Usually that's the rule, you never leave there. And if there's bad shooters,
total heat check.
5s, 4s out there, they will definitely come down and help.
And that's out of bounds. So good look at Brandon Ingram there.
That's the future right there for us.
I'm playing for 1 here.
Extending pressure, as some of you guys may have been able to see, you can do that now in the options menu as well.
Ronnie's playing like a pro right now. I got to stop button 3 and replays.
Got to contain that basketball.
Minnesota's super underrated in this game.
They're very athletic.
They're very good.
Very athletic.
Good. I mean, if a couple of their guys that are shooters can just play up to their level, Brandon Rush, Chris Dunn, some of the guys that can actually shoot on the team, they're going to be scary. And if Wiggins takes that next step,
yeah, which I think he will.
Carl doesn't have a sophomore slump. I really doubt that. The guy's a monster.
Yes, absolutely.
Not a good ideal quarter there.
Oh, this is my favorite part. Cheerleaders throwing t-shirts in the crowd.
Yes.
One chunk at a time, Chris. One chunk at a time.
Yeah.
Something I don't know how many times I said to our fellas, and I know they're watching GFG back home.
I don't get nervous because I know it's a long game.
To be honest, I've also been extremely serious
and playing all
not
day.
talking. And you,
we're on. Let's see. Let's go back to broadcast. Scott, you want to talk about your camera real quick?
The good old winners win
winners
camera.
win.
All right, so check
winners,
this out.
Winners win is
Scott,
kind of winners win is
What
that
is going on
combination
here?
between guys who really like to be on the floor, be close, but yet be in a semi 2K or broadcast cam. So there's a bunch of different options here for you to choose to.
So you see the swing through right there.
Yep.
Yeah, my guys are not playing D right
The
now.
right stick up is your friend this year. Definitely use that. You can use it to steal, hands up. It's definitely something I suggest.
camera is interesting. I love it. It's a different angle on the game.
Yep. There's different
I
options to
cannot-
back
I
it
cannot
up.
buy a
The
basket.
Lakers are not hitting any shots right now.
Nothing.
Good foul. I'd like to know from the guys on the chat, man, what archetypes are they picking?
Yeah, for
You know what
sure.
I'm saying? I would like to. Very
You
curious.
know,
from
I'm
everything
thinking
that
It's
they've
just
seen.
not about
I'm
making
thinking,
the best player you can be. It's also about like getting the who you're playing with, right? I'm going to be running alongside my point guard, so I need a 2 guard that can be a shot creator. So I'm
Yeah.
going to go with
Nice.
that kind of archetype. Somebody that can create shots. I like to take shots and create shots out of nothing.
I think I'm going to be a
You're right.
playmaking small forward. Or
Really? I have not heard that
I
one
like,
so much
yeah,
yet. Not like that's not a good one. There's definitely a lot
I've
of
always-
pros to that.
Whenever I would play Pro-Am or play on the park or just a variety of, or in career, my goal wasn't to score 60 points a game, even though I could score. It was to try to get triple doubles. And that was kind of like how I like playing in high school and college too. So it just gives me that opportunity to play like I. Oh, that was not good.
We're seeing a lot of stuff out here. I'm reading stretch bigs, paint protectors, a 7-3 post score. That's not bad. Speed, you're going to take a hit on. So that was very common
cool.
last year for that guy to play as a the biggest dude, and he was really agile. Don't forget too that I know you've probably read it. Some of you guys that are super into the forums and all that and blogs is the fact that we have speed with dribble and without. So something to take note on. A 5.7 class cleaner. There you go. That's good. That's good.
I'm trying to be patient right now.
So this camera is fun when it swings. Oh, you got the match.
Oh,
up there. Oh, you should
yeah.
have taken the match up. Oh,
Good
extra
swing.
pass.
Good
Oh,
extra
boy.
to the corner.
Hey, we hit a
There it
shot,
goes.
Scott OG.
Here he comes.
No.
Tables have turned.
There's Shake. Yes, Shake. That is true.
I gotta say,
Good D.
I'm liking this more and more.
Yeah, it takes a bit to get used to. That's for sure. I mean, there was nothing, but that's kind of when you're going through different camera angles. That's what you want to hit. So it's
Yeah.
not. Oh, hey, let's just create another edition
That's
of
right.
a
Right.
broadcast or something else. We'll continue to iterate and mess around with it. But the idea is what's
Scott, I mean, you're so focused on gameplay. What are you most looking forward to from a feature mode perspective?
the Pro-Am.
Yeah.
The Pro-Am, man.
Mhm.
The Pro-Am is just the way it took off last year, and now, like you and I talked about, how we mentioned the archetypes and everything. That's just there's a whole different strategy.
Yeah.
Like when we go on Friday, and guys really start getting after it. It's like, oh man, you created a playmaker. Like I have
Right.
guys hitting me up all the time, DMing me of like, you're a sharpshooter, right? There's a legit conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even mention to all the off-ball post tools that we gave you this year. There's over 500 anims just in that system alone. So the battle within
Wow.
the battle is huge. You can deep seal, you can spin. There's a whole push and pull mechanic. Defensively, if you use the right stick, now you can chuck and pull their hips, which has a foul, bigger foul chance and stuff like that. So there's all these different tools that you didn't have last year.
And
So-
one thing we haven't even talked about with Pro-Am, and I'm going to kind of drop a little bit of exclusive news here, you can
Yeah.
actually get scouted on Pro-Am, and players can look for each other in it. So it's going to be very fun, this Friday when the game drops and players are kind of trying to create their my players and looking at what kind of positions are available and people to find to play with,
Yeah.
start building those teams. So there's a whole element of that, too, that's going to be really cool this year.
Mhm. It's going to really start separating, these guys who like to dribble a lot or like to be playmakers and not less shooters and distributors as opposed to guys that can just straight knock it down.
One, come on, get in there. All right.
I'm glad you brought up Pro-Am as well, Chris, because a lot of people have been asking about when we're going to talk about it from a announced strategy. And the Pro-Am news is going to come probably after launch, and the reason for that is we have a lot of focus. You guys have mentioned the esports road to the finals. We have some big news coming on that. Obviously, people already know that we're talking about another big cash prize, a road to All-Star, and some other things. So we'll have more on that as it comes. But one thing that we can say that came out of the community events was that the whole you'll be able to go from park to Pro-Am. You'll be able to acquire sponsors. There's a lot of really cool things going on with that mode. And here I go and I'm talking and I'm struggling. So I'm gonna stop doing that.
You're doing just fine.
Then the other thing that we haven't talked about, every other mode we've talked about today, obviously we talked about My Team. If you have
Which
not
is true.
seen that blog, you are missing out. It is awesome.
Yes.
So I would definitely check out the My Team blog if you haven't. But the one mode that we haven't talked about yet is, of course, My Park. We have something very cool coming there.
Yes.
We're just not 100% sure it's going to be ready for a trailer by launch. We're hopeful, but it's not quite ready. So we're not sure. Well, it takes time with the approvals and stuff like that. So we're hopeful, but it might be early next week. So those are the two things that we haven't discussed yet. But there's a lot of good stuff in a lot of modes, and there's a lot of good stuff in those two modes. We just haven't been able to get those trailers out yet. But we do still have two more trailers. I mentioned one a little bit earlier, by the way. Chris, you see my tweet?
Oh, there's our new tip-in.
Yeah, I was going to try to tip it in there.
Nice.
Normally I probably wouldn't try to tip that in, but I wanted to show that off. So yeah, you hold square down.
Oh, you may need a TO here, Chris.
Huh?
You may need a TO. Let's
Yeah,
get a TO.
I'm gonna go one more possession.
All right. That may be one possession too late, Chris.
I'm gonna.
All right.
Oh, look at
Swing
that.
to the
Wide
other
open.
side of the floor.
That
Oh,
was
you
a
proved
nice
me
swing.
wrong. There you go.
Scott,
Good field,
I have
Chris.
I got
Good
my
field,
winners win tips from
There
the
you go.
broadcast last year. I got them in my head.
Now you need to
But
press.
you're right though.
Now you need to press right on that D-pad.
Yep, and that is not a good look. Let's go. Look here. This is a really cool camera. It gets really close to the action. Pretty easy.
Yeah, we're pretty happy with some of with the community
Yeah.
guys. You know, some guys are gonna love it, other guys are gonna hate
Right.
it. You know, there's just different. You know,
Totally.
I'm still a old style, broadcast
Yeah,
guy.
me too.
Yeah,
But
we're gonna switch.
you
it
know,
up.
guys look at me crazy if I don't play 2K. You
Ooh.
know what I'm saying? But like in the Pro-Am or in the park,
Yeah, be
I
on
play
skates,
2K.
Chris.
Yeah. You know, I'm still the funny thing. You saw that airball there. If you look at where I aimed it, you still have to get used to the right stick, shot. Aiming it, you just pull it away or pull it. I pull it down there. It's something that's going to definitely take some getting used to. But,
Definitely, and it should.
yeah,
You know,
but once you get used
yeah.
to it, though, it's pretty nice in terms of like what you're able to.
Yeah, we really want to separate, and have that guy. You know,
Right.
somebody like last year in the tournament, you could say,
Yeah.
hey,
Block on it. Yep.
Bud 2407.
Oh,
he's that
run
guy.
the floor.
Take a timeout.
Oh, you gotta let that play. You gotta let that replay play.
All right, we're gonna
This
switch.
one, Howard,
We're gonna
yeah.
switch camera angles so I can get back in this game. We go to good old broadcast.
Yeah,
Jeanette.
good old broadcast. How do you guys feel about the new sounds? It makes the game feel
Oh
Love
my
completely
God.
different, doesn't
Love
it?
it.
Yeah.
And the custom ones per arena. I mean,
That's-
it's more like
that-
Staples than ever before.
Scott, some of these adjustments that you can make during timeouts, what are the fans looking at right here?
Man, you can look at everything. You can you're switching defenders if you hit square here. Here's
all radial.
Yeah, here's a whole new radial design. You can change your tempo. Once you get into game, you can hit right on the D-pad, and now you have these what we call ace packages. So now I don't have to go to start, mess with 34 defensive settings. I can go in and just say, hey, LeBron, I want boxes and elbows. Basically means that the defense is going to shrink the floor, or I don't want no threes. There's this whole entire package system
You can see it right here.
with a bunch of them, all on the fly, which is pretty good. Because the offense, man, Big Czar and that crew, man, they're really just killing it. You can see guys more contextually cutting. You're going to see a lot on the offensive end this year with the AI, appropriately
What is
reacting
going
to
on?
slips.
That was my popping it up.
Oh, cut him
Oh,
off,
I gotta
hands
get-
up.
yeah. I gotta slow down.
Oh, Ronnie doesn't know the clock.
Oh no!
Oh, with a new move to end the half.
Oh my God!
Oh, look at DA.
So you're gonna see some of the presentation
DA
stuff
and
as
Zach Levine.
as my Lakers are just getting smashed right now online, but that's okay. I'd rather talk about some of the highlights that people can expect. So what's the word on the streets in the chat?
Man, the chat is pretty live. It's almost too live for me to
Would
keep
you
up.
Would you say, Scott, that the chat is lit?
Is that what the kids are saying these
That's
days?
what the
Trying to
kids
follow
are
every
saying.
phone.
Yes.
Is it 7 fire emojis?
So
With a couple hand claps. And,
Yeah.
we're gonna come back to the game here, but check this out. Some of this presentation stuff that you're gonna see during halftime shows on head to head. So a lot of really cool things returning,
Look
but
at
then
that,
some
Tom.
really nice new stat overlays.
Yes, those are
Some really
big.
nice information.
Stat overlays. You're talking a whole new Shaq, Rooney, and Kenny. All